Welcome to another episode of Millennial Investing Explained. Here's today's question. I want to start today's conversation by talking about an investment strategy that seems to be really popular amongst millennial and new investors, and that is day trading. Day trading is when you buy and sell stocks very quickly in the stock market, usually holding them no more than for just a day or a couple days, in hopes to make big profits. And it seems a lot of new investors are brought into this strategy or just investing in the stock market in general using this strategy because gurus market this online very frequently as a get-rich-quick scheme, and it pulls a lot of people in. For me personally, I don't believe in this strategy and I don't follow it, so I have a hard time giving people advice when they ask for how to day trade. But how about you, Preston? What do you think about day trading?
I always start with a really simple fundamental idea. How many people in the world, when you think across the, people that have made a lot of money, specifically investing in stocks or whatever financial markets you want to cover, how many of those people become billionaires with that strategy? And so when you talk about day trading, you talk about somebody who's literally putting on a position and then selling it by the end of the day. How many people do I know that are billionaires that implement that strategy without like deep machine learning and, the really hardcore technical people that have computers that do this? I would tell you, I don't know any that conduct day trading that have risen to an extreme level of wealth in the market. When I think about other people, call it George Soros, Warren Buffett, Stan Druckenmiller, people that are billionaires that have implemented strategies, they're not doing day trading. They're doing other strategies, which, I'm sure we'll talk about on the show. So I always start there because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out what is the strategy that these people are using? What are all the resources that taught them how to do that strategy? And then how can I read and try to understand what those resources are so that I can try to gain those insights onto how to implement that strategy, because it obviously worked. So when I think about day trading, I don't have a source and I don't have a person that represents, extreme success in that strategy. I start there. The next thing I would tell you is, what is your edge? So if you're going to put on a position, let's say you're going to go out there and you're going to buy stock in a company, we'll call it Google. What is the edge that you have to know whether that's going to go up or go down in that 24-hour, or you could even say a couple day period of time? What is it that that's driving that it's going to go up or go down? And I would argue if you ask a person that question, that person's going to not have a response. And if they do have a response, it's probably going to be so superficial deep as to the reason that you can completely write it off as 50-50 odds. Okay, best case scenario. That's where I can't recommend the strategy either. That doesn't mean that maybe there's somebody out there that could make it work in the future. That's a potential. I would just tell you that I think that it's not something that I can understand how a person can do it successfully. I don't know that they're going to be able to prove too much to you.
I completely agree, Preston, that you need to find somebody that's been very successful investing in the stock market and then try and copy what they're doing. But a very important distinction that I think we need to make is that you need to find somebody that is truly successful investing in the stock market, and that's how they made their money. And the reason I say that is because me personally, I thought I was doing exactly that. I thought I had found somebody that was super successful investing in the stock market, and I started emulating them. And that was actually using a day trading strategy for trading penny stocks. And come to find out, thankfully it was pretty quickly that I realized this, but come to find out they were actually earning more money from selling their courses and being a coach or a mentor to other students than they were from actually trading in the stock market. And while they might have had some moderate success investing in the market, that's not the person that you want to emulate. You really want to emulate somebody that has truly had success investing in the stock market, and that's how they made their money, not from selling courses or their paid advertising or all of these other things you could do on the internet these days. Really, you want to follow somebody who is that expert in stock investing.
And I'll tell you what, as a millennial listening to this show, you should question everything you hear. If Preston Pysh's opinion is that you can't do day trading successfully, you should try to seek out a source and then ask them extremely hard questions, which is what's great about what you're doing. And I love that. Get somebody who has the exact opposite opinion as you. Ask them some really hard questions. And then, maybe there's something to be learned there. Maybe there's a small piece of that strategy that could augment the strategy that you have. I don't know. But I think that one of the most important things that I've learned from studying extremely successful people is they approach everything with an open mind, and they always approach things with the appreciation that they could be wrong. And I think that is probably more of an important lesson than anything else, is having that mindset and having that openness to other ideas and to listen and ask really hard questions and troubleshoot it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you have to make sure that you're not falling victim to confirmation bias. You need to make sure that you're not just looking up resources or books or articles that show that your strategy or your thoughts are true. You need to research the other side of it and see if there's any validity to the opposing argument to yours. And that way, so you can make a fully educated decision based on what you think is best. And one more point I want to make about day trading is that you might be able to make a few good trades here and there. You might be able to have a small streak of good investments and that are profitable. But over the long term, it's very difficult to get it right and to be able to day trade successfully. And not only that, but it's really difficult to come out ahead after taxes and commissions when you're day trading.
I'll take it a step further than that. So if you were a day trader for the last 8 to 9 years, okay, so let's just say you're 30 years old and you started trading as soon as you got out of college, pretty much all you know is that the stock market goes up. That's pretty much all you know, because that's all that's happened since you've participated in the market. Okay, so if you were implementing a day trading strategy, and let's just say that the market has gone up 70% of the time, if you went day by day, the market went up 7 out of 10 days, right? Something like that, whatever it was. So if you're implementing a day trading strategy, you're there, you're doing the trade every day, it's going up 7 out of the 10 days that you participate in the markets. And what are you thinking if you're a day trader? You're thinking, I've got this thing figured out. I'm doing really, really well. What I would tell you is you have to compare that to another strategy. If you would have just taken your money and just bought, never sold anything, and just bought over the last same 8 to 9 year period of time, and you never sold, but you just kept buying the S&P 500, I can't say anything is a guarantee, but I would be absolutely flabbergasted if a day trading strategy beat what I just described as far as the no-brainer, just buy for the last 8 to 9 years. And so what I think people have to be able to do is they have to be able to objectively look at themselves and compare what it is that they're doing to something else that's easier, something else that literally requires almost no thought whatsoever, that would outperform something that is insanely time consuming, insanely fee-based, expensive, like you said. And so are you outperforming the market? Absolutely not. With what I would suspect you'd have as far as returns with a day trading strategy versus something that was just buy and hold. So you've got to compare what it is that you're doing in a very objective way to what other possibilities are that are out there. That's called opportunity cost. So I would tell people to be open-minded to other possibilities, and maybe there's better ways of doing what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Before we move into the next investment strategy, I want to dive deeper on something that you just mentioned, and that's the level of effort that it takes to day trade. When you're day trading stocks, you need to be in front of your computer from the time the market opens until the time it closes, or at least for a few hours in between there, which means it's a very time-consuming and difficult task to do. It takes a lot of effort and time, whereas other strategies, such as value investing, you essentially set it and forget it for a long period of time. So there's very little time or effort commitment once it's set in stone. So that's another dynamic of day trading that you need to take into consideration when you're trying to decide which strategy you want to implement. That's all for this episode of Millennial Investing Explained. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or subscribe to our YouTube channel to get even more free content.